play drumbeat grows louder and louder every week to the point now that they're making overt references to it on the broadcast.
So there's plenty of other guys that have to get faster. Tom definitely is more deliberate in his conversations, always has been since he's been on tour. I just think about Joe Scavern, when those two started working together, how their conversations always seem to just keep on going and going.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
I can't take Boston at minus 110. I don't see the value in it, right? You're getting minus money. If Boston were to turn around and become even money or a plus 105 or plus 110, yeah, I can understand you want to take that. So because of the value at 5.5 to 1, I got to like the Knicks and their chances of coming out of the East.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
In a short format tournament like this, like the Olympics, now this is even smaller, only 4 teams. Who's got the best goaltending? You're talking 3 round robin games and then a knockout with 4 teams. So you're playing 5 games.
I'm not sold yet, Mike, on the USA stuff, on the merch, but I think I'm sold on the USA at least being in the final.
Only on SportsGrid.
Patino himself, in a clip that we just played, said basically the stats are not backing up the team's wins. St. John's offensive glass. That's where a lot of opportunities for St. John's came from. St. John's does not shoot the basketball well. It might even be fair to say they shoot it poorly. They were 3 of 16 from deep last night. But it doesn't seem to matter to them.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
And welcome in. It's in-game live game day here on a terrific Tuesday. Scott Wetzel, Day Sharapan for the next 2 glorious hours, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern time. We got NBA, we got college basketball, we got the Black Cloud, same game parlays. How about an NBA prop play of the day? How about a baseball prop play of the day that's going to pay 7.5 to 1? We'll get to it all over the next 120 minutes or so. What's going on, Mr. Sharapan? How are you tonight, bud?
Great to see you. Thank you for holding it down with the boys on Super Bowl Sunday for me back there. That was great. Saw you with Kaufman and Vecchio. Good job. Good to see you. Still, cashing Eagles tickets and, had a pretty good Super Bowl. The game went over. Books did wonderful. Apparently all the reports came out today about New York and Nevada and Saquon not getting in. Travis Kelce almost not catching a ball. All these things just really helped the books. All the money that was on the Chiefs didn't get there. So we get together on Tuesday, you and I, and College Board, only a couple NBA games, no hockey to talk about. And then you throw at me, we got a baseball prop today? I mean, this is a terrific Tuesday. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. I came across the baseball nugget that, these lines all change. So you got to hop on this stuff. And we're not that far away from the start of the baseball season anyway. But we do have a couple of baseball props that we'll get to, early one anyway. Maybe we'll do one a day. I told the boys, it was like 2 weeks of no hockey, which is idiotic to me. It really is just stupid. But whatever.
Games are going to be good. This Four Nations thing, the games are going to be good. There's betting lines available. We'll talk about it. We'll dive into it a little bit more. The game's not till tomorrow. So Take a deep breath. Yes, the NHL shut down for basically, 12 days? There's no games, no nothing. But the Four Nations has odds to win it all. They're right there. Canada, U.S., Sweden, Finland. I'm assuming are you even going to watch it? I want you to watch it. I think it's going to be good.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Okay.
listen, I will say this. These are not the NBA players. These are hockey players. And everyone I've heard so far, they all seem like legitimately, not phony, oh, yeah, we're interested. They really seem pumped for this because they haven't had the Olympics with the COVID stuff and everything else going on. So it's been a while since we've had this at this level international competition. And everyone I've heard really, really seems like they're into it. So, from a betting standpoint, Dave, there's two angles, really. One, what happens afterwards when all these guys, and we're not talking about Joe Schmoes here, we're talking about the leading players on these respective NHL teams, right? Are they going to be, down? Are they going to be tired? Are they going to be emotionally shot because they won or lost? How are they going to finish up the NHL season? And then the other angle, which I really like, is I'm going to Google and see which teams have the most Czechs and, more importantly, most Russian players. And if I'm a Russian player or a Czech player, right, and there's a lot in the NHL, and I got snubbed, my country is not good enough to be part of this, I'm thinking those players are going to come out flying to start the second half of the hockey season.
They're going to be rested. Yeah, they're going to be rested, so I don't know how much of a angle they're going to be worried about having a week off. I mean, who wouldn't love a week off right after the Super Bowl?
No, but I'm thinking they're going to be ticked off that they weren't, in essence, invited to this thing.
Yeah,
and they're going to take it out on everybody else.
I'm not buying that. I think they're happy to take the time off. Yeah, they're happy to take the time off. Come on. Everybody gets a nice break.
Angle.
I got paid vacation.
I can't believe you're poo-pooing my angle.
You
don't think Ovechkin's ticked off?
I don't think any. No, you're always.
You don't think all the Russian players?
No.
We're coming over to your country. We're doing everything to help the NHL, and now you're not even inviting us to this dopey tournament?
I mean, the guys back east are probably shooting down to Atlantic City and throwing dice and hanging out with guys like Vinny. They're probably down there just get nice dinners, take a couple days off, don't have to put the equipment on and skate. I don't know. I mean, it's like, hey, let those guys go play. They're going to be tired. I just hope they physically play each other like straight up. I don't want to see 8-7, unless it's really up and forth, but like the goalies are great. And I think the goalies are going to dominate play. If it's physical, it's going to be great hockey to watch, and we might be looking at unders. But if it's not, these totals may be a little bit light. I mean, 5.5 in the first game tomorrow, 5.5 in the game on Thursday. Going to dive a little bit deeper into tonight. We'll have more on it tomorrow.
Yeah. I tell you, I'd be betting the overs, Dave. I mean, I think this is it's not going to be as goofy as the All-Star game, but you're talking about 1 or 2 days worth of practice that these guys are having together. This is not like the Olympics where they've been practicing for 3 weeks and playing all these exhibition games. These guys are all being thrown together. And on the deep, we see what happens in the NHL All-Star game, right? Now they don't try, but there was a point when the guys were trying in the All-Star game, and it was still being 10-9, and the goalies were being left out to dry. I would be shocked if these games didn't have more than 5-6 goals. I'm thinking 5-4 at worst for these games.
So when you put a couple great players together, I said this would happen yesterday, and I thought it might be the case. Luka and LeBron, who's going to handle the ball, who's going to this, who's going to that. This is like when they put me and you together after a little bit of a break, or they just throw two great players together. They just pass the ball back and forth, give each other the open looks. You throw me an alley-oop, I throw a behind-the-back pass to you. You just lay it in or step back and hit a three. We're good. Hockey players are even easier. We're tying our skates in the locker room, say, hey, man, you good? Yeah, I'm good. All right, let's go. I'll look for you, trailing the play. But it's like 2 seconds. We got one practice together. That's enough. Even if they didn't practice together, they would figure it out. Again, I can't wait to watch it. I think it's going to be good. We got NBA games tonight. I don't know, early NBA, Raptors, Sixers, Knicks, Pacers, either one of those games. Did you look and go, oh, this has to be a play, or this one's looking good? Because the only thing I liked in these two early games, my buddy P. Rilla, I saw him today down on the strip. He's told me Pacers over. At home, Pacers over. So that's the only thing I looked at.
That's what I like. Listen, it's a big number, 240. It's 239.5 right now. It's on pace, so it's basically the same number. A pretty good high-scoring first quarter. So Knicks on a 6-1 overrun. Indiana 24-10 over their last 34 games. So, and their numbers have come down a little bit. Now it's back up to 240 tonight, but it's because they're playing the Knicks, who are been a monster over team, generally speaking, as well this year. So the other thing is, if you want to put them in a little parlay, I didn't realize this, but Indiana 24-5 at home against the Knicks, straight up, 24-5.
Wow.
So,
so what do they play them at home twice a year? That's you went back 15 years.
Yeah.
Was Reggie Miller still on the team when they were doing
postseason? They played the postseason too. That might go back to Reggie Miller. Who knows? Maybe not that far back, but
it's a long trend.
Pretty far back, right?
That's a pretty far back trend, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I did like the over too. That was the one from the early games that stood out.
Yeah.
If it doesn't go over, it's not because they didn't try. One of those plays. Whereas I think the late game over, I think it could go under. But Knicks lead, by the way, 38-37. Close game. So 243.5 now is the number. As soon as we said play the over, it went up a couple shekels. So
they're watching the show.
Just getting underway. We'll look at the other games in college basketball for it.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live. Game day here on the grid. Just getting underway. Scott and Dave for another hour, 45 minutes or so. Full slate of guests, whole bunch of college basketball, NBA, a little bit as well. So big college basketball slate. Number one maybe going down after a wacky weekend. Got a pretty good matchup. Auburn at Vandy. Vandy coming off a nice win against Texas, needing a statement win. You see 14-9 against the spread. So is Auburn. And right now, they just went to break. It was a 2-point game, one way or the other. I'll tell you, Auburn is trailing 47-45. Numbers are locked on FanDuel. 4.5 minutes into the second half. I thought Vandy had a fighting chance in this game. You know, it's funny. All the favorites at the beginning of the SEC season were all winning and covering, and that's kind of flipped. And now we're getting some favorites on the road that are struggling a little bit. But the underdog has really come through a lot in the last week and a half or so. And I think Vandy's going to be in this until the end. I'm curious to see what numbers they give us. I'm sure it's not going to be 9.5, Dave. I'm guessing maybe 5.5, 6.5, maybe. But I think Vandy's got a shot to win this thing outright.
I think it might even be a little bit less. With 15 minutes to go, it'll probably be, I would guess, Auburn 3.5 or 4.5 we might use, depending on who's sitting there deciding. I would use 3.5.
Wow. FanDuel's got 2.5.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would use 3.5. So, I don't know. We saw Auburn lose over the weekend to Florida, and that was it was a hell of a basketball game. The SEC is really taking shape. I mean, the other game that's going on right now, I'm kind of locked in on is Kentucky at home against Tennessee. Another one where Tennessee, higher ranked team, obviously, going into the game. The total was really low. This is one where, I mean, look at this trend. 1-6 against the spread following an ATS win for Tennessee, and 14-2 against the spread in the last 16 as a dog for Kentucky. So, closed 3, Kentucky +3. Thought that might be the side. So far, so good. 43-35. 16 minutes to go. SEC's heating up. Maine had a little bit of a down year in football, but, man, they're rolling in the baskets. Vandy, we got to keep an eye on it. I don't want to give Vinny any more assignments because he's watching so much stuff, but we might need a goal horn or something because we have no hockey, but Vinny has to find a reason to use a goal horn. How about when Vandy takes the lead, we'll get the goal horn, right? Because it's tied right now. This might be the start of the run. That's the danger. Like at one point, does Auburn take control of this game? It's only 3.5. I don't know if it's now. Yeah.
You know, our 3-league championship parlay, which we're going to have to do this week. It's. I tell you, this college basketball is going to be tough. You know, every time you think you land on someone like, okay, you know what, the Dookie Pukies, they're great. They're going to win. They lose to Clemson the other day. Then you think it's going to be Auburn. You know what, Auburn's unbeatable, blah, 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 right? And then they lose at home to Florida in a high-scoring game. But, man, Florida, they beat them by double digits. It was just to be able to win by double digits. And now they're losing maybe again tonight. So it's like, now you scratched, Tennessee were to lose tonight, against Kentucky, as they're doing. I mean, it is so like there's going to be legitimately 10 teams that you could probably point to that, realistically has a shot to win the national championship this year in college basketball.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And there's teams right below that are, getting hot or playing their best basketball right now that I don't know if they're going to later. But, I mean, look, tonight Creighton is playing UConn. Creighton's not on that list, and I don't think Creighton. Hey! Here we go. Vandy back in the lead. Vandy back in the lead. All right, there we go.
Vandy up one.
That's what we need. Yeah. All right, this will be good. Keep everybody alive. No, Connecticut's playing at Creighton later, and we'll have Dawson on. Dawson's a UConn guy. He'll help us get down into that. This is a nice matchup. Creighton kind of owns UConn at home, and this number. Yeah, this number a little short. I mean, it's only 3.5. Looks so easy. 7-0-2 ATS last night at home for the Creighton Blue Jays. This looks like a Creighton and under bet. That's what it looks like to me. What does it look like to you?
Like the under. If you look at the scores, they've been close games. They got a 2-point win in there. I think they got a 6-point win thrown in there as well. They are 8-2 their last 10 against UConn. It's the proverbial can you beat a good team, twice in 1 year? I think that's why that number is as low as it is. And it's not, I thought it'd be like 5.5, 6. But remember, they won in stores, 2 weeks ago? So are they going to be able to beat UConn twice in one season? Maybe. They're 8-10 or 8-2 rather, last 10 meetings, 5 straight at Creighton. But you've had some close games. This has kind of got a Creighton 2-point win. I mean, I like Creighton. I bet Creighton. But it's just, I'm telling you, it just kind of stinks. It's just like, Creighton wins 65-62 and UConn gets the cover. Well, one of those type of games. Yeah.
Really calling your shot with that one, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It just kind of stinks.
Well, this one stinks. Marquette is playing DePaul coming up at the bottom of the hour here. 5:30 Pacific start, 8:30 Eastern. 2 touchdowns and a field goal. 17 in a basketball game. What? You find any reason at all to take DePaul pregame? Can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah. The only thing I say, DePaul's in Chicago, Marquette's in Milwaukee, so it's not far. You'll get some DePaul people up there. A little bit of a rivalry. I will say this, over might be the way to go. You see there, over 7-0 DePaul against winning teams, as Marquette clearly is, even though they're a little bit of an under team, Marquette. But I would, if you think it's going to be a blowout, this might be one of those, give me DePaul and hope they get to 65 points and the game goes over and you get a double winner.
You do your math thing with this one, huh?
Yeah.
I don't want anything to do with DePaul. Can't do it. Can't do it. I'll pass.
But should be maybe a good game. So, all right, in-game live game day here on the Grid continues.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
You want me to solve all this tush-push and fourth down malarkey that goes on with the officials? Here's a crazy idea. Get rid of the worst rule in the NFL, and that is forward progress. How about this? Where I knock your ass in the ground is where the ball goes, period. Let's end this whole conversation. Like, if I drop you back 4 yards, then you lost 4 yards. If we get rid of forward progress, this tush-push and everything else is taken care of. Where I put your tail on the ground is where the ball goes. End of conversation. It's the dumbest rule and the most arbitrary rule. The only thing that is a worse call in the NFL than forward progress is the punt that goes out of bounds when you watch the official walk down the sideline having absolutely no clue where that ball crossed over. All I can think of is that Price is Right game go do-de-do-de-do, do-de-do-de-do, as he's walking down the sideline, arbitrarily trying to figure out where the ball crossed over because he's got no clue.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live. Game day here on the Grid. Scott and Dave, another hour and a half and change, doing a little sports action, a little sports betting. How about a little SGP same-game parlay time? All right, now we got some extra money, those that watch the Super Bowl coverage, because we hit our last SGP that paid over 11-1. Thank you very much with the Philadelphia Eagles. Cha-ching, cha-ching. So we got some shekels to play with tonight. So let's head out to the NBA board, Dave, out west in Phoenix, where we're going to grab the Memphis Grizzlies, laying 3.5, oddly enough, at the Phoenix Suns. Why? Memphis 10-2, their last 12. They're on fire. Phoenix only 2-5 against the spread, their last 7. And more importantly, only 8-21-1 against the spread, their last 30 games at home. So they, they're like Minnesota, man. They can't buy a cover at home. So I know they're a dog here, which is not the case really for most of those, I'm sure. But give me Memphis because they're a covering machine. I'm going to go with the under. Don't ask why, but I will tell you why. Phoenix 12-4 under their last 16 at home. I know Memphis is a monster over team, and this has got 125, 120 written all over it. I get that, but 244. I'm just going to play a little hunch on the under. It's a big number. Give me John Morant 20 points or more, minus 170. He should get that. Give me Morant 6 assists, minus 280. He should get that. These are just parlay builders. Numbers that you shouldn't really have to worry about, but it will build your pay up. And then give me Devin Booker 20 points. He's going to get that in his sleep, minus 650. Add it all up, and it's a little bit over 8-1, plus 809 on that one. What do you think?
Wow. I think I like everything but the total. I think I like it over. Highest total on the board. And, I looked at it earlier, and I thought, all right, it is high, but I think the play is on the over. And then maybe try to find the top and go under. I don't know. Feel like we'll have at least 120 points in the first half. So good luck with this. This is a good parlay. It's not bad. I just don't know. What does one concern you more than the other? I mean, you got a good number with the Grizzlies minus 3.5. I think they win the game. The Jaw stuff looks pretty solid. And the Booker thing is just to add a little bit to the payout, but what concerns you on that?
The over-under. And listen, it was kind of almost like a 50-50 thing, but I just, 244. I like the over in the Knicks one, and I said, well, are both monster numbers both going to go over? And I said, chances that's not going to happen because, everyone's going to be betting the over in the Knicks, and there's no way Vegas is going to let that happen. So... But that would be the one, the 244. And realistically, you probably can't hedge because, we all know no lead is safe in the NBA. So Memphis could be up 15, in the fourth quarter, and you can't really hedge the over because Memphis could, clearly blow that. So, but that would be the one. That 12-4 under at home kind of pushed me towards like, okay, you know what? I got a decent shot at the under. Why not?
Okay. Yeah. That's good. How many legs, how many pieces did you have in the same game parlay for the Super Bowl when you hit it?
We hit a 5 or 6. We had Philadelphia. Whoa! We had the over. We had Jalen Hurts passing yards. We had Devontae Smith receiving yards. These were a little bit adjusted, and then there was. Who was the big guy for Xavier Worthy receiving yards? 5.
Wow.
So, all a little bit adjusted lower, but not only did they hit with the adjusted lines, they actually hit with all the real lines. I mean, if you would have used the real lines, it would have hit. We had the Super Bowl. I got to tell you, Dave, I had the Super Bowl pegged. You could not have scripted it any clearer than what I scripted for the American public here and the Canadian public as well. I mean, I said Philadelphia was going to win by at least 17. I had it 34-17, 37-14, something like that. Told them to adjust it up. I told them it was bet against Barkley. I said they're going to stop Barkley. Philadelphia, it's going to be a Jalen Hurts game. I said Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts is going to get the MVP because they're going to stop Barkley. I mean, I even gave him Worthy for Kansas City to have the monster game. That's how on key I was.
You know what's funny? You didn't text me one. Just saying. You didn't text me one. I mean, we're off all this time. You know my number. I talk to you 3 times a week. You changed my hat to green, and you didn't even text me.
We had a big pepperoni pizza party. I didn't have time before the game.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
You want me to solve all this tush-push and fourth down malarkey that goes on with the officials? Here's a crazy idea. Get rid of the worst rule in the NFL, and that is forward progress. How about this? Where I knock your ass in the ground is where the ball goes, period. Let's end this whole conversation. Like, if I drop you back 4 yards, then you lost 4 yards. If we get rid of forward progress, this tush-push and everything else is taken care of. Where I put your tail on the ground is where the ball goes, end of conversation. It's the dumbest rule and the most arbitrary rule. The only thing that is a worse call in the NFL than forward progress is the punt that goes out of bounds when you watch the official walk down the sideline having absolutely no clue where that ball crossed over. All I can think of is that Price is Right game go do-de-do-de-do, do-de-do-de-do, as he's walking down the sideline, arbitrarily trying to figure out where the ball crossed over because he's got no clue.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
And welcome in. It is in-game live game day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number one, midway through. We got some games going on. We got some games starting in a little while. So let's get some thoughts from our good buddy, Jeff Dawson. EastCoastSportsInvestors.com is his website, EastCoastSportsInvestors.com. What's going on, Jeff? How are you tonight, bud?
I'm cold outside. We're warming up, though. It's that March Madness feeling, so I'm excited. Football is in the rearview mirror. Had a great Super Bowl. Not as great as yours, Scott. Congratulations there, of course. But it's March Madness time. It's pitches and catches reporting. It's time to shine. It's the big boy time now.
Yeah, it is. But before we get to all that, we got games to discuss tonight. And we said we were going to ask you NBA first, but I can't because it's college basketball time, and Jeffrey is a UConn guy. UConn's got a game tonight, Jeff. I don't know. This feels like a Creighton play. Jeff, you're already squinting. You're already making a face. Do you like UConn? Do you like Creighton? Do you like over? Do you like under, and why?
This team is broken right now. Liam McNeely has returned. Okay, that's the good news. The bad news is in their last two games, they had almost 50 turnovers, like 46 turnovers. They won at Marquette, and then Friday they lost at home to St. John's. So this is a revenge spot for them. They lost to Creighton earlier this year at Stores. The overnight number was 2.5. It's now 4.5. I did take UConn 4.5. I did put some beer and pizza money on them, plus 155. I'm going to tell you right now, guys, this team, if they don't correct the guard play real soon, they won't make it through the first weekend. Their guard play is real bad. They're so careless with the ball. If Creighton's hitting from three, this could be an early blowout, but I think Danny will have them ready. I like the 4.5, and they got a shot to a little revenge here tonight, guys.
All right. I kind of like that as well. I played Creighton at 3.5, but I was telling Dave, I somehow this just smells like a Creighton 2 or 3 point win. But how about 20-3 Alabama taking on 15-9 Texas? Texas coming off a loss to Vanderbilt. which is now, oh, by the way, down double digits against Auburn. We put the black cloud on them. Alabama 9-3 against the spread last 12. Texas 7-1 over against teams with a winning road record as Alabama has. Jeff, how do you see this one coming out?
Well, you guys know I'm the team total guy. So when you do a team total, the good thing about it is if they don't cover the spread, if they don't win, it's okay because once they get their team total, we turn the page. You talked about the overs here. Also, Alabama and Auburn face off this weekend. So I think I'm not saying that they're going to peak ahead, but I like Texas in this spot. We got their team total over 80. And I do like them plus the 4.5. I think this will be a back and forth game. You know, first one to 80, 85, I think wins this game here, but it should be a track meet, guys.
8 o'clock Pacific, 11 o'clock Eastern, late night for some. You'll be up watching basketball, I'm sure, because you don't sleep. Santa Clara, St. Mary's. It's a big spread. You found something here, and not a lot of people have this on their card.
I have a story and a half on this one. On the 29th of January, I was at the Celtics Bulls game. We had Santa Clara team total over 67. They were only 4.5-point underdogs. They started slow. I think they had about 8 points at the 10-minute mark. They ended up with 24 points in the first half. They didn't score the last 3 minutes of the first half. They opened up the second half, and St. Mary's outscored them 24-0. They didn't score for the first 10 minutes. They went 13 minutes without scoring. But where I'm going with this is they ended up with 54 points in that game. Okay, without scoring for 13 straight minutes and getting outscored 30-0. So I took a shot here with their team total over the 63.5 if they don't go on a 13-minute drive. And I do like them at a plus 9.5 here. So I thought that would be kind of a neat little angle. Listen, there's no way in hell you can't score for 13 straight minutes here in college basketball.
No, probably not. This has basically been a two-dog conference, right? It's been Gonzaga and St. Mary's, but you got a couple now, including Santa Clara. This is a big spot for them to get one of those signature wins, but they're on the road. Maybe San Francisco. Is this still a two-horse NCAA tournament league, or can they get 3 or 4?
No, the Dons, no Bill Russell, but they're good this year. They're not as good as their last couple years, but they are respectable. You cannot sleep on the Dons here. Gonzaga, St. Mary's, I definitely put San Francisco in the mix. And Santa Clara can be sneaky here. They can score with the best of them, but they go in these droughts here. So, but definitely St. Mary's, Gonzaga, then a step down to San Francisco.
All right, Mr. Team Total. Let's do another one, but let's go to the NBA. The game total is so high between Memphis and Phoenix. And Wetzel actually took the under in the same game parlay. I mean, he's living dangerously, but this guy's walking around with bags in his pockets, and it's cash, shekels. He said under. What do you say in this game? Do you got the team total, side total, anything? What do you like, JD?
Overnight, 2.5 with a 237.5 at the circa right now, 246 with a 4. There was some 246.5. Their team total was 119.5, 120, skyrocketed to 125.5. When I sent this one out, it was 125.5. You can get a 124.5 minus 120 right now. I like the Memphis side here. I think they get it done. They're going to roll the ball out here. I think they can get to that 130 today, but instead of laying the 4.5, we'll try to get cute here, guys, and we'll take the over 125.5. And Scott, we get over 125.5, 126, 127. We'll still keep it under for you. How's that?
There you go. We'll take that. We'll take that. 126 to 100. I'll take that. Dave and I are going to talk here in a little bit, Jeff. Give me your thoughts. Can the Lakers go? They FanDuel in all the books. They offer in season win totals. 49.5 for the Lakers. Can they go 18-3 the rest of the way? How high are you on this Luka trade, and how good can they be? Because they're playing great ball right now.
18-3?
Oh, no,
The math
18 and
wrong. What are you
13. My bad. My bad. Right,
Yeah,
18
I
and
was
13.
like, what are you
18
talking?
and
I got 31 games left.
I was like, what's Magic, Kobe, Shaq? Who are they all coming
Right,
back
yeah.
here?
No, they're not.
18 and 13 is doable. I saw part of the first half last night. I liked the alley-oops. I liked that they were passing the ball well. I don't know what they're going to do with Connect here. He was sitting there like telling the coach, hey, I got to go. I got to process what's going on here. Maybe they find a way to move him or out. But I like the Luka and LeBron combination here. I just, size-wise and defensively, I don't know how well they're going to do long term. So 18 and 13, I think it's doable, guys. I really do. And I think a lot of people are excited for this look here. And I think it'll be fun to watch. I'm not saying Showtime is back in LA here, but it's definitely going to be a fun take.
It's close. I got
think
the
they
Lakers
get it,
stuff
yeah.
out. I got the purple and gold back out for the late night stuff. I'm all in. I love Luka and I love seeing LeBron excited. Speaking of being excited, Scott is not really excited for this Four Nations hockey thing, Jeffrey. I know you're a hockey guy. Are you excited at all for the Four Nations and what's coming this week with the hockey?
I'm excited. They're playing in Boston. Andrew McGinnis is going to be here for Wednesday and Thursday. We're going to go up there. I think it's fun. It's like a prelude to the Olympics. So, yes, go USA, go.
Yeah, that's it. Wrap a red, white, and blue flag over it, and most of Americans will buy in. Not me. Not me. Jeff, great job. EastCoastSportsInvestors.com.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
You want me to solve all this tush-push and fourth down malarkey that goes on with the officials? Here's a crazy idea. Get rid of the worst rule in the NFL, and that is forward progress. How about this? Where I knock your ass in the ground is where the ball goes, period. Let's end this whole conversation. Like, if I drop you back 4 yards, then you lost 4 yards. If we get rid of forward progress, this tush-push and everything else is taken care of. Where I put your tail on the ground is where the ball goes. End of conversation. It's the dumbest rule and the most arbitrary rule. The only thing that is a worse call in the NFL than forward progress is the punt that goes out of bounds when you watch the official walk down the sideline having absolutely no clue where that ball crossed over. All I can think of is that Price is Right game go do-de-do-de-do, do-de-do-de-do, as he's walking down the sideline, arbitrarily trying to figure out where the ball crossed over because he's got no clue.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid again. Thanks to Jeff Dawson, EastCoastSportsInvestors.com. We're talking a little NBA with him. First, let me update a couple of quick scores. Things looking good. If you got the over, as we suggested earlier. Knicks 68-60 over Indiana. Over-unders up to 246.5 as they are at the half, 128 points. That's not bad. Bulls down, by the way, 21 at home against Chicago. I don't know if Chicago's going to win again. I really don't. They made no bones about it. They do not care about this season. Down 21 at home against Detroit. And you got the 76ers and Raptors tied at 74 late third quarter. 6.5 the Raptors are getting, and then 219.5 is the number there. And then we put the kiss of death on Vandy. We had them leading. We all got all excited about that, and now they are down. Where's the Vandy score? 71-59. Sorry, Vandy fans. So, all right.
We were saying that we're kind of hinting to lay it with Auburn. So, I mean, that's okay.
2.5.
Knicks and Pacers is 68-60 at the half. That's 128. That's 246.5 pace for the over. We got over 240. So let's get that one home. What do you got? You cooked up something.
Right.
This is
good. We got to maybe you got to put the stamp on it, but we're at least going to take out the stamps snapper there, the S&W Corporation. We got 2 plays for you to consider, folks, and we'll hand out one of these every single day. NBA. Over, under, second half, rest of the way, 49.5 for the LA Lakers. Now, they would need to go 18-13 the rest of the way in order for them to get to 50 wins, which, sounds impossible, but throw in the fact, and here's the kicker to this 18-13, Dave. Their next 3 games are Utah, Charlotte, Portland. Now, the Lakers are 13-2 their last 15 games. They're not losing to Utah, Charlotte, and Portland. So that 18-13 is really 15 in my eyes in 13.
Okay.
Are you willing to put the S&W Corporation seal of approval? Do you like it that much? We go over 49.5 Lakers season win total.
31 games. We got to go over. We got to play 5 games over 500. I mean, can I look at the schedule tonight and give you an answer, or you got to do it right now? If you need it right now,
no, they don't play tonight.
I'm leaning right now, right?
They don't play
tonight. So they play tomorrow.
So.
They play tomorrow against Utah, at Utah.
Right.
They just were 12.5-point favorites at home against Utah, so it'll probably be 6.5 tomorrow at Utah without looking. Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're not losing tomorrow. So,
right.
15 and 30. You're assuming win. Right. The All-Star break's coming up. More time for them to practice together. More time for them
and heal
to get. Oh yeah. And
for Luka to heal a little bit further.
Right? How high of a seed did the Lakers end up with?
Well, that's the thing. That's the bonus. Now, they're not going to probably catch OKC, right? They're too far behind. But they could go to the number 2 spot. And as I was telling the guys on the podcast, Dave, they're still 17-1 to win the NBA championship, 9-1 to win the Western Conference. I'm telling you, I know OKC has been great. We know that, right? But they're so young, and they failed in the postseason last year. It wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world to see OKC lose in the first or second round. And if the Lakers finish as the number 2 team, and they could clearly catch the number 2 team, the Lakers could have home court advantage in the Western Conference Finals. And you're getting them at 17-1, or at least 9-1 to win the Western Conference. When are the books going to adjust? This Laker team can be great, Dave. I mean, if Luka meshes in, I think that number is good. After they win these next 3 games, and listen, barring something crazy, I think they will, even though 2 are on the road. And Portland's playing a little better. But, I mean, I'm thinking that thing is going to be cut in half. Not to mention it's L.A. and it's LeBron, right? I mean, it's not 17-1 the high watermark right now. Would you not be buying in on that?
Right now, current standings have them as the 4 seed. So they would play Houston in the first round with home court advantage. They're favored.
But they're only 2 back.
Well, I know.
Oh, the number 2 seed.
Yeah, no, they're only 2 back of Denver and 3 back, 2.5 back of Memphis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just say they end the 4 seed and they play Houston. They're favored at home.
Right.
And then as the 4 seed, they play OKC. That number's a lot closer than it was before they got Luka. A lot as far as the series price. And you got a young team that, had a good run last year, but up against Luka and LeBron and the Lakers. Hello. They win that. If they beat them, then they play the winner of Memphis and Denver. There's not going to be too many people that are going to say, oh, give me Denver if Denver beats Memphis in that spot. So that line will be close to pick 'em. I mean, the numbers really are starting to look, you work out the series prices and things like that. But like you said, if they get the 2 seed, which is very possible, 2 seed plays 7, which right now would be Minnesota. They win that. Then they have the series of all the series. They have to play Denver if Denver holds on to the 3
That's
seed.
the tough one. Yeah.
That's the tough one. And then if they somehow get through that, or they worse for the wear, having to play a young OKC team, I think it's legitimately possible that they could get to the Western Conference Finals. So,
yeah. And at 9-1,
you have to entertain the fact the team in the West that's leaking is Houston. They're not even on the top teams listed. Right there on the graphic. They're not there. How is Dallas ahead of Houston? Dallas is a mess. And AD got hurt over the weekend.
Yeah.
That's trouble.
I mean, that team is in a lot of trouble. I mean, obviously the trade. They had fans last night protesting outside. They said about 1,000 fans with signs protesting, fired Nico. Guys got kicked out of the arena during the game because they were chanting "Fire Nico." I mean, this is a mess. What did they do? What were they thinking?
That's what they did. Traded Luka.
Wow. Crazy. All right, more coming up in Game Live Game. Back to the game.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
You want me to solve all this tush-push and fourth down malarkey that goes on with the officials? Here's a crazy idea. Get rid of the worst rule in the NFL, and that is forward progress. How about this? Where I knock your ass in the ground is where the ball goes, period. Let's end this whole conversation. Like, if I drop you back 4 yards, then you lost 4 yards. If we get rid of forward progress, this tush-push and everything else is taken care of. Where I put your tail on the ground is where the ball goes, end of conversation. It's the dumbest rule and the most arbitrary rule. The only thing that is a worse call in the NFL than forward progress is the punt that goes out of bounds when you watch the official walk down the sideline having absolutely no clue where that ball crossed over. All I can think of is that Price is Right game go do-de-do-de-do, do-de-do-de-do, as he's walking down the sideline, arbitrarily trying to figure out where the ball crossed over because he's got no clue.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. It's an in-game live game day here on the grid. You know what time it is? Time for our best play of the day, and we got a good one tonight. We really do. Time for the old Black Cloud. Yes, one of the beauties of having a big college basketball slate is you got a lot of trends and a lot of good games, a lot of good matchups, conference schedule. So you have some decent matchups here with a little bit of history, although this one doesn't really have a whole lot of history. But that said, we're going to go to the SEC The newbie in town, Texas A&M, relatively newbie, against Georgia. Not in football, but in college basketball. We're going to go under 139.5. Why? Georgia, 16-8 under this season. A&M, 15-8 under this season. Georgia, 9-0 under this season as an underdog, as they are here. Texas A&M, 8-0 under versus winning teams, as Georgia is, and they're on a 7-1 under run their last 8 games combined. I mean, everything points to an under, and they're giving you a halfway decent number, maybe 138.5 now. It was 139.5 when I put this in this afternoon, but man, I don't think this thing approaches 140 points. There's nothing but unders. This has got 65-60 to me written all over it. Love the under. Double, triple your normal 10-cent play. What do you think?
That's a pretty strong case. I like it. I'll take your word for it on all that stuff you mentioned. We only have a couple minutes. We have to get to this baseball prop. You've had me hanging on the edge of my seat since the opening of the show. We got Colby and Cam in the back end of the show here. So what did you come up with?
All right. Little Major League Baseball time, since we got pitchers and catchers reporting next week, including the Dodgers, right? Because they're don't ask why starting overseas. So FanDuel, and I'm sure the rest of the books, offering a bet. Will the Dodgers, and they list a bunch of other teams, but realistically, will the Dodgers set the Major League record with 117 or more wins? They're giving you, now that to me is a question of 50-50 at this point. Now they're giving you plus 750 odds. They would need to go 117 and 45. Is this Dodger team losing 45 times, knowing they play in a division which San Francisco stinks and Colorado couldn't beat Topeka High? That's 35 games in which they figure to go 30-5. So wipe off 30 wins, just like we're going to do with the Lakers. And really, they need to get about 87-42 in my book, 87-40. I think they do it. At plus 750, it's worth a shot.
We're going to have to check the math on this. I put on my glasses because they used to play the teams 18 times. Now I think they only play their division foes 13 times because they play every team in the league in a home and away.
Don't let facts get in the way of a good rant. You know, they are saying don't let facts get in the way of a good rant.
I'm a book guy by heart. I understand, but 117 wins is absurd. You got 750. Good luck with that. I can't. You asked me to sign off on some other stuff. I ain't signing off on this. They're not getting 117 wins. They're not doing it.
If they're motivated, who's beating them 45 times? They play in the National League that stinks. Outside of the Mets, Phillies, and Braves, right? That's it. And Padres.
You said it. There's a team you said in there. You said, did you not say the Mets? The Mets. Vinny, hit the cue. Hit the thing. We're a Mets show. They're going to split the series against the Mets. There we go. I mean, the Mets. Beat the Mets. Beat the Mets. Juan Soto. All that
Mets
stuff. They're going to have trouble with them.
But they signed Trevor Bauer, which is what I would do if I were the Mets.
Well, they're not like doing it. I don't think so.
117 wins is doable.
The Diamondbacks are going to give the Dodgers some tough time in the division. Yeah. Padres are going to battle them a little bit.
Padres might.
Okay.
But I think the NL East, hopefully they don't beat each other up, but I hope that one team emerges and gets like 110 wins. This way the Dodgers have a reason to continue to win in September. That's the key. That's the key. If they don't have a reason.
For the 1 seed, right, yeah.
For the number 1 seed, yeah.
Right, in the home field.
If they have a 20-game lead on that in September, then you're in trouble. But maybe just the thought of history, you know? They've won the World Series. They need something to motivate them. Maybe a good record is, the best record in history of baseball is it.
You are reaching. This is reaching. This is Wetzel reaching at something right there. That's what that is.
Let's see what Colby Dan has to say about that when we come back.
All right.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
You want me to solve all this tush-push and fourth down malarkey that goes on with the officials? Here's a crazy idea. Get rid of the worst rule in the NFL, and that is forward progress. How about this? Where I knock your ass in the ground is where the ball goes, period. Let's end this whole conversation. Like, if I drop you back 4 yards, then you lost 4 yards. If we get rid of forward progress, this tush-push and everything else is taken care of. Where I put your tail on the ground is where the ball goes, end of conversation. It's the dumbest rule and the most arbitrary rule. The only thing that is a worse call in the NFL than forward progress is the punt that goes out of bounds when you watch the official walk down the sideline having absolutely no clue where that ball crossed over. All I can think of is that Price is Right game go do-de-do-de-do, do-de-do-de-do, as he's walking down the sideline, arbitrarily trying to figure out where the ball crossed over because he's got no clue.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise. From game time decisions, we will have.
All right, welcome in. Hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. Scott Wetzel, Day Sharapan for another 60 minutes here on the grid, talking some sports, basketball, whether it's college basketball, NBA, including a wacky game in Chicago, or over Knicks still looking halfway decent. So let us continue the basketball talk with our good buddy Colby Dan. Check him out on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. His show, The College Experience Podcast. What's going on, Colby? How are you today, bud?
I'm doing great, and just jumped in on a in-game plus 37 and a half. I'm a little bitter because I see 38 and a half available right now.
Yeah. The Pistons are leading the Bulls 67-24 with 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. The in-game number's 37 and a half. They have 6 points in the second quarter. 6 points in the entire second quarter.
Wow.
So, yeah, it gets dangerous sometimes with us in the commercial breaks, and we're talking, and that one came up, and we went, really? And you're not afraid of anything. You jumped in and did it.
Good
Speaking
for
of not
you.
being afraid. Yeah, right? Listen, jump in there. Go
Principle.
Get your thing done. Yeah,
You're not going to get 37 and a half that often in life, right?
No. No, but in February after the All-Star break and into March, you're going to get it a lot in the NBA. You just hang out with us on Tuesdays and Fridays. You'll see it all the time. There's going to be some bad teams playing some good teams, and there's not a number you can't take under 40. Listen, we talked to Jeff Dawson. He's a UConn guy. His game's coming up. Creighton and UConn. Creighton at home. Apparently, it's dollar beer night there. They kind of own them when they go. You like a side, Creighton, UConn?
Yeah, I'm all in on Creighton. I bet this before. I knew it was dollar beer night, and then so now I feel even better about it. But look, it's that strange Big East road trip where you're like, where are we, right? Then that they only lose like once at home every year. Do the math on this. I feel like Nebraska has beaten them at home the only couple times they've lost over the past few years, and really Creighton's just playing great ball right now, and UConn's kind of living a little bit off their name. They're a good team, don't get me wrong, but they're not anything like the previous 2 years, and that's okay. They're just a lot younger. They don't have the veterans that they have, which means you don't want to trust them as much on the road against Ryan Cockbrenner, who's playing at an unbelievable level right now. And Creighton is one game back of St. John's, and no one's talking about it. Watch out. They might be able to win the regular season title there.
All right. Alabama, Texas. I know that's one of your games just tipping off. Bama laying 5.5 right now, 5, 6.5, depending on where you do your shopping. Your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, this line jumped a lot, so I don't want to sound like a maniac on here, but I definitely got a much different number than that. But I still think you're okay with Bama. Texas to me is a team that Rodney Terry just hasn't been able to really maximize the talent. They had that little stretch for like a week or so where they were playing pretty good ball, but since then, they lose at home to an Arkansas team that's been terrible on the road for the most part. I like Bama here. I know it's a look ahead with the Iron Bowl and the hardwood on deck, but I think Alabama is they're chasing that regular season title too, so they can't afford to slip up here in Austin against, to me, one of the back half teams in the SEC.
No question. 1 and 2. They could be 1 and 2 in the country when they play on Saturday. The Iron Bowl becomes the Iron basketball game. Another SEC game. Wetzel got involved as the Black Cloud play of the night with the total. Georgia and Texas A&M. Vinny, if you get a chance, you can flash the Black Cloud just to get Colby's blessing, or see if he wants to maybe make it rain with the Black Cloud play of the night. He's on the under. All right, there it is. It's the play that can't lose, that you double up, you triple up, all these things. Wetzel has a whole thing that he talks about. Do you have a play in this game, Cole?
I'll tell you, I do, and I'm about to play again because I think Wetzel's onto something here, because both teams top 50 defensive teams, and I took the points with Georgia just because Buzz Williams, whenever he's a heavy favorite, it's almost like Shaka Smart. I don't like playing it, and knowing what A&M has on deck, a rivalry game, I think Georgia's a pretty good team. I mean, they're probably not going to get to the NCAA tournament, but they're still pretty good. They're 16-8. And they passed the eye test. Mike White's done a good job improving that program. But yeah, the under is appealing as well. But anytime you can get A&M as like a 10-point favorite, 8-point favorite, 11, I love the dogs in those spots. They're kind of a grinded out team. They're not like a lot of the other SEC teams. You look at, Auburn or Florida or some of these other teams that can just score, at will. That's not Texas A&M's game. They're kind of like Bob Huggins Jr., where they just bring you into the muck. They have a veteran team that can rebound and that. So anytime you can get a big number, I like taking the points there.
All right, let's head out to the Mountain West, Cole. We got a pretty good one. Utah State laying 6.5 at home against Colorado State, over under 147.5.
Yeah, I love. I'm intrigued on the here, but I love Utah State. One of the things about Utah State is if you guys haven't caught a game in Logan, that's one of the most insane crowds, I think, in college basketball. It's not talked about enough. But Colorado State's off of a gigantic win against San Diego State. And to be honest, Nico Medved has the team a little bit ahead of schedule, but I don't know if they lost everybody last year. So to me, going into one of the toughest road environments in a game where Utah State is chasing the Mountain West championship, they're right now they're the 2 seed. But with some big matchups ahead, they could still be the team that takes home the regular season championship against that 1 seed in the tournament. I think it's one of the hardest places to win at in the country. I like Utah State minus the points there.
5th win by Kentucky versus an AP top 10 this season as they close out Tennessee 75-64. Just wanted to update people there. You made it a regularity on this show when you came on, picking against Penn State during football season. Penn State and USC are playing right now out by you. USC at home. The game just tipped. USC closed minus 4.5. Go ahead and do it again, Cole. Pick USC. I'm sure that's who you got. I'm wearing my Penn State stuff, but I actually agree with you. What do you think?
Yeah, I was all over USC here, man. I saw your Penn State hat, and I was hoping you're not going to ask me about this game, but glad to see you're on it too. Apparently, Penn State has been a mess, really, ever since like December. Yeah, I mean, I early on I was kind of buying into them being pretty good. Now, some of that's the Puff Johnson injury, but they've been really bad, and this is that far road trip. And another thing on the other side of that coin is, I think Eric Musselman is improving with every week with USC. He came in, brought in a whole team of transfers. So I laid the 4 there with the Trojans, as Penn State just can't find a win right now.
You didn't play SMU Pittsburgh. Tell me why. Because I loved SMU at home.
No, I
laying
did.
3.5,
I did
4.5.
actually.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I
You just
did.
didn't give it out to us.
No.
Okay.
Well, I took Pitt.
Okay.
And I actually
Really?
like Pitt. I actually like Pitt on the money line. I think Pitt's gonna catch them. So SMU to me, they're not used to the they've been better than I've thought coming into the ACC. But this Pitt is they just lost the Carolina game by 1. I thought that they got fouled personally, and then this is like you lose this, stick a fork in you. Like you need to win some of these games. Give me Pitt.
Wow. All right, there you go. Just underway. Down 5. Getting a big number on them. Colby, great job as always, man. We'll do it again soon.
Thanks for having me.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. By the way, Wetzel Public 1, Sharapan nothing.
What happened?
Good buddy Pat Kennedy, primetime wins. Opposite picks, that Dodger bet is a good play. It's not even money. 7.5 to 1. $27. I don't know why it says 27, but pays you $200. Dodgers, didn't they win 105 games a few years ago? A couple years ago. And now they got Snell, the Asian pitcher, Kirby Yates, Tanner, May, Gonzo. They're all coming back. I'm putting my 401k on the Dodgers again. I don't know if I would do that, Pat. But,
Pat, yeah, slow
I
it
appreciate
down.
your support.
Slow it down.
I
Slow it
appreciate your
down,
support.
Pat. Yeah, slow it down. I mean, listen,
Yeah.
I'm glad he's watching the show. He participates on the socials all the time. You can reach Scott at Opposite Picks, me at Sports BK and Sig. Tag SportsGrid. Let him know you're watching the show. We have these conversations. I just saw Sean retweeted your tweet or your statement that don't let facts get in the way of a good argument. I mean, people are watching the show. There's definitely things being said and happening. Listen, 117. You really think they're going to get 117? Like, once they get 104 and they got the division locked up, what's going to be the motivation to get 117?
To set the record. That's the mode. But my fear is they can have 90 and like, all right, who wants to go, 27 and 5 the rest of the way? But if you're at 100 and change, it's kind of like when you have 45 points and the whole bench knows, all right, you're only 5 away from 50. Let's go. We're going to feed you the ball. So there's a reason for them to win. So I look forward to the baseball. See, I really do. We're going to have a lot of fun, Dave and I, because there's a lot of questions I want to ask Dave. I'll just throw one out now, but we'll bring it up, I'm sure. But, we'll write this stuff down. How high of a line do you think we'll get with the Dodgers? Regular season game.
Oh,
6?
boy.
5?
No. I mean, depends who pitches, but if you catch the number 1 versus another team's number 5 in Dodger Stadium,
right,
minus 500, 5 to 1.
What I'm thinking, right?
Yeah,
you
I mean, you don't get much higher than that. I don't think you get to 6. It's a baseball game. I mean, you might have to. No, the
if
highest
the
I
Dodgers
ever
are
went
like
in a game,
80 and 25.
The
and
highest
now
I
you
ever
got
put on a
Snell
game in a
against
book
the rookie.
was Verlander was at home against the Tigers during COVID, and the send out was 5 to 1. And I said, this is the opener? Like, we're going to put up 5 to 1? Can't be, right? And it went up. When we put 520, and I said, this can't be. 550 was closed 550, and he lost 1-0. He lost. Yeah, we made a ton of money that night. A ton. Back in the day when the pitchers were dominant like that, I mean, there were Pedro lines that were minus 425, 440, 450. Those were the highest ones. But on a regular, there were guys that were – once you got over 4, it was like ridiculous. You could automatically get it because the run line was take a run and a half, and it was like 2 to 1 to start. So you don't want to move those too much. Because if it's a one-run game, if it's another pretty okay pitcher, those lines are never ace. But they're the way sometimes rainouts line them up or whatever. You get the 1 against the 5. I don't know. I mean, the Marlins, the Nationals. The Rockies again. I mean, you see the Rockies season win total? Oh,
if the White Sox are going to be bad again.
The White Sox. Oh boy! Did you see today? Somebody tweeted at me, a good friend that watches the BVB all the time, JC from KC. The White Sox are offering a ticket for March, April, and May home games for $5 a piece. You could get one ticket. You get all the home games for March, which is spring training, April, and May. Cost you $125 total. I don't even think there's fees.
Oh, my
That's unreal.
Goodness.
I want to get one. I just go down to Arizona and go sit and watch the games for a fin. Yeah.
That's amazing.
You guys should come
they
out
didn't
to
really
Arizona.
make any off-season moves that I remember that makes me think they're going to be any better than they were last year, right? I mean, they can't be that bad last year again, but
they traded Crochet. Crochet went to Boston. They didn't even. I mean, they got rid of their best pitcher. Legit. They're not. I mean, their season win total's lowest I've ever seen. So
what is it? Do you know it offhand?
It was below 50. It was below 50.
No. Below 50?
No, I think it was 40.
Let me see.
48. Was it 49 and a half? I think the number was 50. And I think that somebody put 49 and a half just to test the waters.
FanDuel's got it at 52 and a half. I will say that.
Okay.
But even that, I can't remember another win total that was not. I think there was like a 59 with the Nationals or Marlins within the last year or two. But I don't remember too many times where they're predicting you're going to win 100 games, and this is 110 games.
So we're talking
right, 52 and 110.
Right. We're talking about the White Sox, right? I mean, in futility in Chicago. This
Here's
is
a good
breaking
bet.
news.
Right.
What?
Here's a good bet.
No.
What's going to be
Quickly.
more? White Sox losses, Dodger wins. FanDuel should have that bet up.
White Sox losses or Dodger wins? White Sox losses, I'd bet. I'd bet White Sox losses.
Be a good bet.
That's a good bet. That's a
would be
good number.
real
We'll do it.
good bet.
We'll come up with something. How about this? Chicago Bulls tonight at home against the Detroit Pistons.
What do you got?
It's 71-29 at the half. I mean, if we could find the music from Opposite Picks, our award-winning segment that you handle on Fridays, wah, wah, wah. I mean, 71-29. This can't. The in-game number at halftime is 34.5.
White Sox are 1 for 23 from three-point land. Wow. All right, more coming up.
Get the White Sox on your
Or Bulls. Is it the White Sox?
A slow play
Bulls.
drum beat grows louder and louder every week to the point now that they're making overt references to it on the broadcast.
So there's plenty of other guys that have to get faster. Tom definitely is more deliberate in his conversations, always has been since he's been on tour. I just think about Joe Scover when those two started working together, how their conversations always seem to just keep on going and going.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
I can't take Boston at minus 110. I don't see the value in it, right? You're getting minus money. If Boston were to turn around and become even money or a plus 105 or plus 110, yeah, I can understand you want to take that. So because of the value at 5.5 to 1, I got to like the Knicks and their chances of coming out of the East.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
In a short format tournament like this, like the Olympics, now this is even smaller, only 4 teams. Who's got the best goaltending? You're talking 3 round robin games and then a knockout with 4 teams. So you're playing 5 games.
I'm not sold yet, Mike, on the USA stuff, on the merch, but I think I'm sold on the USA at least being in the final.
Only on SportsGrid.
Patino himself, in a clip that we just played, said basically the stats are not backing up the team's wins. St. John's offensive glass. That's where a lot of opportunities for St. John's came from. St. John's does not shoot the basketball well. It might even be fair to say they shoot it poorly. They were 3 of 16 from deep last night. But it doesn't seem to matter to them.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Slow play drum beat grows louder and louder every week to the point now that they're making overt references to it on the broadcast.
So there's plenty of other guys that have to get faster. Tom definitely is more deliberate in his conversations, always has been since he's been on.
Welcome back in-game live game day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 2. We got our good buddy Cam Stewart coming up.
We do.
And then we're still in shock here. It's how bad is this going to get? Detroit 79, Dave. Chicago 31. We've seen scores like that in college basketball games, but these are 2 supposed NBA teams. Your in-game number is 38.5. They're down 48, so I don't know where they're getting the 38.5 from. I mean, this sounds crazy to say, but would you not take the Detroit Pistons up 48, laying 38.5? Were we expecting that kind of a run from Chicago? I mean, this is nuts.
I hated doing these games because you can't make a number that's right. You really can't. if I'm choosing right now between taking 39.5 or laying 39.5, 39 and 31 is 70. We got a 9-point lead. Is that even right?
I know, right?
Yeah. What are they expecting the Pistons to call off the Dogs and just let them score? I mean, if I'm on the Pistons right now, I'm going, listen, man, let's hold them to under 50, right?
Yeah, a little
like,
bit
let's
of a
set a
goal.
record. Let's hold them to under 50. This will be fun. I don't care how many points we score. Now the bet simply becomes, how many points do you think the Bulls are going to score? They went 18 in the first quarter, 11 in the second. So if they get 18 in the third, which would be their highest point scoring quarter, and then 11, so 29 and 29 would be 58. Do you think this team scores 60 points tonight? If you think they score 60, then
looking for their team
you lay
total.
it. You lay it.
Right.
I mean, it's up to 40.5. You lay anything under 40. You have to.
They offer you, here's a goofy bet. I mean, if you just don't think Chicago's scoring, right, you could bet on how many made threes in 1 minute of the third quarter between the 8-minute mark and the 8:59 mark, going down, 8:59 to 8.
Right.
0 is only minus 135. I mean, the Bulls have made one the entire game, so the Bulls aren't making it, right? They're 1 for 23. So it's really, will Detroit make a 3 in that 1 minute span? I mean, I've never made these kind of goofy bets, but
right.
I like the 0 on that.
This is incredible. They've got they're 1 for 25 from 3 for the game.
1 for 25.
13 for 55 from the field, which is a smooth 24%. 24 of their 37 points have come in the paint. They've never led this game, and when you click the biggest lead in the game, it says Detroit 48 and the Bulls 0. I don't remember seeing a 48 in a basketball game too often. We talked about it. I think we were on, 2 weeks ago, when we were trying to figure out what the biggest spread record was. It was OKC beat somebody by 70, right? I think that's what it was, some crazy number.
Yeah, Memphis,
I can't remember.
Memphis, I think it was.
Oh, Memphis, maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But this is on pace. The Pistons are not going to stop scoring. 37. Wow. How many points do the Bulls end up with right now? What do you think? I'll give you a number.
I think I'll say they double it. I'll go 60. They'll have a scoring spree in the fourth quarter. I'll go 60.
65 or 66. That's my number.
Yeah.
65 or 66 is where they end up.
I mean, if you're Billy Donovan, right? What are you doing, Billy? I like this guy in Florida. Back-to-back national championships.
Come on, Billy.
He jumps to the NBA. What are you doing, Billy? Right? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Please.
That's ugly.
But this is what happens when the general manager, last week after the trade deadline, they trade away Zach LaVine. They get basically nothing for him, and he tells the world, we don't want to be mediocre. We don't care about being mediocre. We want to lose. He basically said it. We'd rather be rock bottom. So what kind of message is that to your players? So this is what happens. Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny. Let's see if they get it. They'll probably get it. They got 42. They're on a little bit of a roll here. They've scored actually 13 points here in the third quarter.
Excuse me.
Wow.
Nothing to sneeze at again. Sorry. Couldn't even get to the mute button. Big ones.
Wow.
That's okay.
This is live TV, folks. That's what you get. Woo! Knicks, though, doing well against the Pacers. We'll look at that when we come back.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
You want me to solve all this tush-push and fourth down malarkey that goes on with the officials? Here's a crazy idea. Get rid of the worst rule in the NFL, and that is forward progress. How about this? Where I knock your ass in the ground is where the ball goes, period. Let's end this whole conversation. Like, if I drop you back 4 yards, then you lost 4 yards. If we get rid of forward progress, this tush-push and everything else is taken care of. Where I put your tail on the ground is where the ball goes, end of conversation. It's the dumbest rule and the most arbitrary rule. The only thing that is a worse call in the NFL than forward progress is the punt that goes out of bounds when you watch the official walk down the sideline having absolutely no clue where that ball crossed over. All I can think of is that Price is Right game go do-de-do-de-do, do-de-do-de-do, as he's walking down the sideline, arbitrarily trying to figure out where the ball crossed over because he's got no clue.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, another half hour. We got Cam Stewart coming up in about 10 minutes or so. A little NBA action, a little college basketball action. You know who I thought was the live dog in college basketball? There's so much going on today. We didn't really get to it. I thought Kansas State. What a weird little team that is. It turned into. They're leading now against Arizona, 45-44. Arizona was playing good ball. Kansas State had won 5 in a row. Including 3 against ranked teams. So it's not just like, okay, they're scheduled, they're playing all the bottom feeders of the Big 12. No, they're playing like good teams. 3 ranked teams. This will be 4 wins. Now, listen, it's a long ways to go. 10 minutes left to go to second half, but they're up 2. If they were to win, this would be 4 quality wins, ranked teams. It's going to be weird Selection Sunday and see how much credence is given to some of these clubs that are, maybe not going to have great records, but, have some decent resume wins. So I like them. They're a pick 'em. I thought it'd be a little higher scoring. It's down to 134.5, but Kansas State laying 2.5. I got laying. Actually, they're still getting 1.5. I think they beat Arizona. I really do.
Yeah, this will be interesting. The Big 12's shaping up to being a logjam. Houston's clearly, in my opinion, the best team, like one of the best teams in the country, a team that we might have to consider in our futures parlay that we're going to put together here, as we get closer to the end of February and get ready for March and get that first leg in. I don't know. Arizona has been playing good, but I'm with you. I thought K-State definitely live tonight in that game. So we'll keep an eye on that the rest of the way. They trail 46-44 K-State leads. Penn State's off to a terrible start. I'm wearing the Penn State hat. It's 26-13. They're already doubled up. 9 minutes left in the first half. The in-game number's 10.5. It was too easy. I didn't want to wear the USC stuff, though, just in case any of my boys are watching it with the Penn State. Auburn closed them out 80-68. That one's done. BYU beat West Virginia. Yeah, they did 73-69. BYU beat West Virginia. Michigan found a way to beat Purdue at home, 75-73. Florida, again, proved that to me, going on the road and winning at Mississippi State in a game that could have been a letdown spot, 81-68. Another good win for Florida. Another team we got to talk about back and forth, maybe. But, I know they're a little bit chalky and up near the top of the list to win the whole thing. But Florida's proven already multiple wins, especially on the road.
Yeah, I mean they really are turning out to be the class of that league, and that's saying something because that's obviously a good good league. So are they peaking too soon? That's the only thing you worry about. Stuff
boy,
like
here
this,
we go.
You know, are they really that good,
Yeah.
or are they peaking too soon? They're going to lose a few games. You get better money on them a little bit later on, but you're right. They got some road wins now. So I was saying before, like the SEC at the beginning of the year was home team just bet the home team blindly. Now the road teams, it's just an equal balance. They're winning some of these games, whether it's Florida or wherever the case may be. Kansas State's won a couple on the road, beating Kansas. So, yeah, good win for Michigan, although they were laying, 2.5? I saw it go to 1.5, so hopefully, because I gave out Michigan, and hopefully the boys at the podcast there grabbed them laying 1.5, because that would be a tough win, laying 2.5, and you win the game, but you lose, against the spread. But
it's my favorite time of year as we approach post Super Bowl, like the first week after. And I haven't heard it yet, but I know it's coming. Two things that just drive me crazy now going forward to March Madness. February, pitchers and catchers report. I love it. The hockey's taking a break. We're diving into basketball. But we get these quadrant wins. I swear I can't stand that. I don't know where that came from. This quadrant 1, this quadrant 2. Please, I don't need to hear about quadrants. So if you're going to do it, I'm going to just give you the business.
No, I hate it. I hate it.
Thank you. Okay, good. Whew, good. We're on the same page there. And then 2, the other thing that, listen, if you're looking to come here for in-game live game day, and it's me and it's Wetzel, and you want to talk about the draft and betting it, I'll just call in. That's it. I won't do it. I am not interested in that at all. I'd rather focus on the games and the teams and the lines. And I don't want draft reports. I don't want grades. I don't want any of that. Who's going to be this? Who's going to be that? I don't want it. It was the worst thing I had to put up in a book, take bets on. It's not for me. Do you concur with that one?
I do. The only thing I might put a bet on is over. Someone said, I heard this, I forget who it was, one of the guys here, said he saw it somewhere where the quarterbacks taken in the first round was going to be 2.5 the number. And it's like, you know what? If it's 2.5, I'm going over. But I got to see that to believe it. That would be the only thing. With counting, because there's going to be a third quarterback.
2.5? No, that's it.
No, there'll be a third quarterback.
Who's it going to be?
Jackson Dart kid from Mississippi, or what was his name? Dart, from Ole Miss. He might go. There's always some dopey quarterback that you don't know of that's got an arm like a bull that always gets moved up in the draft. If it's 2.5, I'm telling you, I'd put a mortgage payment on it. You wait and see. Too many teams need quarterbacks. They would take a flyer on somebody. So
I don't think so.
Yeah. You'd be surprised. Especially now you don't have to have the arm strength. You can just be a scrambling quarterback. So one of these guys. I don't got my college brain on, but Dart down at Mississippi would be the one.
Is Aaron Rodgers? I mean, you're in New York. You're listening to people talk about the Jets and stuff. Is he coming to Vegas? Like the word on the street out here is that, they flew him back to New York and fired him. Basically said, you're not coming back. We got a new coaching staff, whatever. And the local buzz this morning was, Aaron Rodgers may come to Las Vegas and play for Pete Carroll for 2 years. That's not happening, is it?
San Francisco. That's my hunch play. San Francisco.
Okay.
You know why? Because San Fran, first of all, we know they got a history of fooling around with the quarterback room, right? They went to a Super Bowl with Jimmy G, and then they moved up the very next year into the draft and drafted Trey Lance. They got rid of Jimmy G. They get lucky, with obviously Brock Purdy. But now they got to pay Purdy. He's due a monster contract. He's got 1 year left. They really want to give him $40 million? I don't think they do. I think they trade Purdy, try and get a number 1 for him, bring in Aaron Rodgers. We got wide receivers galore. We got a tight end galore. We got a great running back. We got a good defense. You don't have to put 30 on the board. Where are you from? Oh, by the way, the San Francisco area. You want to have that stench of the Jets on your career to end your career? I don't think so. Come play with us for a year, maybe 2. And then you get a draft choice in the process. I could definitely see that happening. Definitely. So
that was one of your best off-season rants yet, and it's only Tuesday. I mean that was amazing. I can't even wait until Friday with opposite picks. That was great. All that being said, that actually has a chance of happening. Wow.
Yeah. It's from that area.
That's the kicker. Does that make them better? Like, do you want to think do they win the division with him at quarterback?
Yeah, I think they do. I'm not a big Brock Purdy fan. I'm not a basher of him. Give him credit, but I don't think they won because of Brock Purdy. I think, he had his chance this year to show how good he really could be with all their injuries. And he finished 10th in passing. They had 6 wins. He wasn't any good. He's a product of their system. They can get anyone. Wow. They don't pay a quarterback $40 million. They really don't. So,
man.
By the way, Black Cloud, Georgia leading Texas A&M 28-19. 5 minutes left, down to 137.5. So we're hovering
good start.
Okay with that one.
Good start.
Marquette. How about Marquette? Leading DePaul by only 4.
Whoa.
Laying 13.5, though. Second half, where you get no discount there. Let's get some winners from Cam Stewart when we come back.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
You want me to solve all this tush-push and fourth down malarkey that goes on with the officials? Here's a crazy idea. Get rid of the worst rule in the NFL, and that is forward progress. How about this? Where I knock your ass in the ground is where the ball goes, period. Let's end this whole conversation. Like, if I drop you back 4 yards, then you lost 4 yards. If we get rid of forward progress, this tush-push and everything else is taken care of. Where I put your tail on the ground is where the ball goes, end of conversation. It's the dumbest rule and the most arbitrary rule. The only thing that is a worse call in the NFL than forward progress is the punt that goes out of bounds when you watch the official walk down the sideline having absolutely no clue where that ball crossed over. All I can think of is that Price is Right game go do-de-do-de-do, do-de-do-de-do, as he's walking down the sideline, arbitrarily trying to figure out where the ball crossed over because he's got no clue.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, we welcome in our next guest, a man who I think someone told me had the Chicago Bulls on the money line tonight. Mr. Cam Stewart. What's going on, Cam?
Well played, Wetzel. Well played. I did have the Toronto Raptors plus the points in the money. Philadelphia laying that number? The Sixers suck. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that's Dave. It's just sometimes those books, they lay a bad line. It was just, I almost didn't bet it because I'm like, really? Like, it was like one of those things where you go, am I getting suckered here? Hey, Scott, hope we did well. Great Super Bowl, but that's old news. So we'll get down to business tonight. I know we have the NBA. It's kind of a weird game. I know Memphis is a much better team, but how are you guys feeling about Phoenix as a home dog tonight? Or do you think Memphis smokes them out? Because I'm thinking about taking a shot with the Suns tonight, getting 4.5.
I like Memphis, but
Me
you
too.
like Memphis?
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I mean, to win the game, I don't know if we're, you might want to take Phoenix plus the points, but I like Memphis to win the game. They've been so good lately. We get these trends that we pull up. Everything would indicate that Memphis is the play, but you like to go against trends, which is fine too.
15-0 in domes? How about 15?
Yeah, this one is 10-2 in their last 12.
I
right?
like that one.
12
Yeah, no, you're
1
right.
to the over in the last 13. All these things point to that.
You're right.
8-21-1 ATS last 30 games at home for Phoenix. Like they're just, I don't know. They feel like they're more disarray. But the Black Cloud play of the night was this total in this Georgia game. And we looked at this. Have you been watching the SEC and the basketball and like what's going on? It's good, right? Like, did you have Kentucky tonight? That sounded like a dog that you would have.
Let's go. You know what, Dave? I was going to bet Kentucky, but I still have some money like tied up because I won the Super Bowl and I tied it up with some futures and that hockey tournament that's coming up. Remember, the Four Nations starts tomorrow, so we'll have some picks and golf picks tomorrow as well. But that's the thing. I'm kind of rolling over the Super Bowl stuff. But I'm going to say this. The SEC, from a basketball perspective, Dave, I've never seen a conference like top. It's like good. You know what I mean? Like they're all the teams in the SEC, even their lesser teams can ball.
Yeah.
Like teams that are at the bottom can beat anybody. Like
Georgia's winning tonight.
That's what I'm saying, Wetzel. Like this has become a football conference that has turned into a basketball conference. The SEC basketball is fantastic. It's so good. And that's just the way of the world right now. We remember these guys for football. Their football goes down and their basketball gets better. But guys, live, I see a good number right now. I understand Arizona's a better team. It's a very, very close game right now, but I'm almost getting, what am I getting here with Kansas State? It's like literally, actually, they just went up more. I should have bet it. I like them at -3.5, still up 6. I think they're gonna pull away from Arizona. That game live. I don't know how you guys feel about St. Louis and George Mason. It just got locked up. That's the end of the game, but it's very, very interesting there. DePaul Marquette. Would I shit Dave? Am I stupid enough to bet the DePaul Blue Demons at plus 13.5 live? You're damn right I am. So give it to me. Yeah. You know me and my dog kennels. Yeah. Good joke off the top, Wetzel. You got it. But I'll tell you, that Super Bowl, man, that Philadelphia ladder, it's a pretty good ladder.
Baby.
It didn't break.
Yep.
Oh, Dave, I'm going to tell you, buddy, when my girlfriend's winning $1,200 and I'm cashing out a few dollars, that feeling of hitting the withdraw button instead of the deposit button is basically, it's like making love.
Sweet.
I was
it's the best.
You know what I'm saying, Wetzel?
Yes. It's the best. Like, I went around to a couple places today, just, picked up some tickets, and it's always fun cashing. I love doing it in person. Tell us a little bit more about this Four Nations thing, because we were talking about it earlier. Wetzel's not completely sold on it. I can't wait to watch it. I think they're going to be competitive games. Not sure about the totals. I was thinking when I looked at it again over lunch and I was talking to another guy that maybe totals over early, and then as we get a little bit more competitive and things are playing to get to the championship game, maybe unders. Yeah. But what do you think so far?
I'm doing the exact same thing, Dave. I'm basically going to equate the start of the tournament as kind of not playoff hockey, good hockey. But if you give me a 5.5 off the top, I'll take an over. I have to see how these things play out. The problem is a lot of these teams, there's only four teams in the tournament. What does Finland do well? Defense. What does Sweden do well? That's the thing. Like, I think Canada and America are the teams that could really score a lot more than the other teams. Finland doesn't want to get in a boat race with anybody. They want to win like a 3-1, 3-2 type hockey game with Saros there in that too. Like, you know what I mean, Dave? They're good, but they don't have the firepower on all lines like the Canadians and the Americans do. Sweden, I think, is a very, very dangerous value pick at +4. Like, what are they? +440 in the tournament on one of my books on FanDuel. I was like, it was such a great price. I'm like, I love Canada and I love the U.S., but Sweden's good. Like, and that's the thing. Gabe made a case for Finland last night. We actually looked at their lines and went, they shouldn't be 10-1. Like, they should be about 6-1, 7-1. I obviously think Canada has the best forwards. I think the United States is deeper and has better goaltending. It's a short tournament, so I'm going to take these numbers over, Dave. but we could see it's kind of a risk. I don't think it's going to be playoff hockey where things can get really, really defensive. So we're gonna have to play this one by ear, Dave. I think it's kind of like a live betting a golf tournament. We'll see how it plays out. I got to give it the eye test and feel it. And we'll say if these guys are playing loose, shinny hockey, there's going to be a lot of overs. I'm going to start with overs. If it's a 5.5, we'll play it by ear. We'll watch a few games, then we'll adjust accordingly. But I'm really excited about this tournament because the All-Star game sucks. Who wants to see guys like skate skater? Like enough. Like there's only so many things you can do in hockey, guys. It's like the NBA All-Star competition. It's like they're done. There's nothing they can do to excite us anymore. I think the tournament idea is better, and I think other leagues should start looking at things like this because we're done with All-Star games. Like how many times we used to see some numbnuts in a slam dunk competition? The only like 3-ball shooting's pretty cool, right, Dave? But it gets old. Like you know what I mean? There's nothing new you can do to spice these things up. It's like. We can bet on it, which we always have done, but I'd rather see like a mini type competition. I think the NHL did something right here, and we'll see how it goes in the 4 nations.
Which nations have the least amount of NHL players? Do you know offhand, or is it roughly about the same?
It's about the same, Scott. Finland and Sweden, I think will have the less. I have to confirm that, but I'll also look at this from this perspective. They played together before. These guys.
That's what I mean. USA, that's why I would play those teams.
Yes, Scott.
Right?
See? No, Wetzel, you're getting smarter as you're getting older. That's the thing. Continuity. Finland and Sweden. Uh-oh.
Gambling game, top of the hour.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York team has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
You want me to solve all this tush-push and fourth down malarkey that goes on with the officials? Here's a crazy idea. Get rid of the worst rule in the NFL, and that is forward progress. How about this? Where I knock your ass in the ground is where the ball goes, period. Let's end this whole conversation. Like, if I drop you back 4 yards, then you lost 4 yards. If we get rid of forward progress, this tush-push and everything else is taken care of. Where I put your tail on the ground is where the ball goes. End of conversation. It's the dumbest rule and the most arbitrary rule. The only thing that is a worse call in the NFL than forward progress is the punt that goes out of bounds when you watch the official walk down the sideline having absolutely no clue where that ball crossed over. All I can think of is that Price is Right game go do-de-do-de-do, do-de-do-de-do, as he's walking down the sideline, arbitrarily trying to figure out where the ball crossed over because he's got no clue.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave closing up shop. Cam Stewart, Gabe Morency, top of the hour for the next two here on the grid. So get a lot of high-scoring college basketball games. You know, I've been playing these unders and have had a lot of success this year. But, man, as we close out the season, it's gone just the opposite. It's been a lot of high-scoring ones, including, of course, the one that I need to go high is not 60-60 now. Kansas State and Arizona with 4 minutes left to go. Little overtime could push it to an over. But St. Louis and George Mason 68-62, 26 seconds left. Over under there was 131.5, so something tells me they're going to get 2 more points. UCLA, Illinois, that game's basically 78-76. That one's gone, 140, 154. Yeah, that's over already. Had the under on that one. Marquette starting to pull away from DePaul. You know, it's funny. That was 36-36, second half, and Marquette was still laying 13 points. Like, they gave you they just assumed eventually it's coming. So,
yeah, I mean, they're watching the show. We talked about it, but I 100% agree with that number. There's no way you could give a 17.5 point favorite under 10.5. There's no, I mean, like, that's as low as I would have gone doing it and just said, wait, it's coming. Wait, it's coming. Well, it looks like it is right now. Creighton, as the kids say, standing on business tonight. 37-23. It's 10.5 with 3 minutes to go in the first half.
This team would, if they played every single NCAA tournament game at home, this team wouldn't lose. They'd win a national championship. I mean, it's amazing.
They might, yeah.
I mean, it is just remarkable. You know, is Connecticut getting to the point where maybe they're becoming a bubble team? You know, this would be their 8th loss.
Wow.
I got to look and see how many games they have of, like, decent wins. I don't remember. In the beginning of the year, a couple, I think. But remember they were in that tournament where they lost all those games.
They lost all the games in Maui against the big-name teams, higher-ranked teams. Yeah, I don't know what we're ready to say bubble, but like they still have some big games left in the Big East to kind of salvage it and then get a better seed in the Big East tournament, in which case I think if you're deferring, you know, or you're looking for a chance to let UConn in, it's probably not a bad thing to let them in. But I don't know, maybe you don't.
They beat Zaga.
Win.
They got to win over Baylor, Gonzaga.
Yeah. Those don't look as good as they did before the season. Yeah.
Marquette. So they got 3.
Okay.
They got 3. But, you got a lot of Sacred Heart, Lemoyne, New Hampshire wins. They lost to Memphis.
Lemoyne's a tough team. I mean, Lemoyne is a tough team. Yeah. Lemoyne is a tough team.
They're good.
Are you a good driver in the snow? I need to know because we're getting ready to go. People back east. Are both hands on the wheel? You keep both hands on the wheel?
Both hands on the wheel.
Snow?
Yeah, and I do old school, 10-2. No more. It's not 10-2 anymore. It's actually 9-3. As dopey as that sounds. Yeah, oh yeah.
Lower?
Take a test. You put 10-2 on your test, you fail. It's now 9-3. They want you to hold the wheel like this, which is so stupid. Who drives like that, right?
Nobody.
Nobody
does.
So, but that's how they want you to do it now. Yeah, that's.
I
took a test.
I'm a big guy with the wheel on, like one hand on top.
One hand
on top. I like a lot of one hand like that, and sometimes you just grab that. You know, if you're gonna make a move. But
in that snow, though, when you're really concentrated, I do go too. I must say.
That's fine. I think you should. That's good. Yeah. Do you put the glasses on or anything?
Well, if the wife is talking to me, then I put the glasses on and I go too, and I look straight ahead. Yeah, just ignore that.
No talking.
We need 6 points. 128-107, minute 34 left. Can we get 6 points to go over 240.5?
128-107.
Personal foul on the Knicks.
Minute and a half. Foul.
I think
2 to the line.
2 to the line. Yeah,
shooting 2.
Definitely.
Let's go.
Bulls got 74 points. 6.5 left.
Okay.
115-74. They're making a big comeback.
76. Boy, what a run. They got 74 points. I mean, they're going to cover the 40. They're going to cover the 40.
They might.
Yeah.
Take that. Arizona by 2. Bama by 13. And at the half, 32-23, 55 points for our Black Cloud play. Looking solid.
Drive it home.
Do it tomorrow. 10-2. Forget this 6-3.